With the release of Barbie last year, Margot Robbie got thrusted into the spotlight, and with that came with criticism, of course. The internet wasted no time in debating her looks. Some people even went as far as calling her mid.
Is she 10 or is she mid?
Definitely mid.
Yeah, Can you explain why?
Because listen, she looks like how women are supposed to look, right? Ideally,
So wouldn't that make her a 10?
Right, but like mid, when we're comparing her to others, right, to the ideal woman, I would say she kind of fits into that. You know, I would say a 10 goes like above and beyond. I see women who look like her all over the place, you know. Where I'm from in Chicago, they're everywhere. So.
Okay, so is it good that Hollywood is actually promoting a woman that looks like a real woman?
Yeah, it is. Although I think ideally Hollywood should promote beauty standards that go above and beyond normality. I think that we should not settle for mediocrity in general in life and that we should promote excellence.
Which received furious backlash from people that have a more grounded perspective of beauty still. It was just crazy to see Margot Robbie, someone that is literally looking like a Barbie doll, be criticized and called mid. It just showed me how much we have lost the plot as a society. However, this criticism is part of an even bigger issue, the idea that we view beauty as an ever-evolving and unattainable standard. Somehow we've created this world where those at the pinnacle of celebrity and beauty are held to impossible standards. And this is not exclusive to Margot Robbie. We've been seeing celebrities like Lindsay Lohan and Christina Aguilera be the talk of the town because of their recent transformations. People are saying that they've literally turned back time. They look so youthful and gorgeous, and people are wondering what it is that they did to achieve these results. But we're probably just witnessing the effects of extremely expensive procedures, all so that they could stay within a beauty standard that seems to be losing touch with reality. What's up, YouTube? It's tinysey, and welcome to my digital garden. So let's take a step back and look at how the beauty standard has really changed over the past years. So in the 90s, we had that heroin chic look where models had to be super tall, super skinny, and almost sickly looking. People like Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, they really embodied this look, and this is what everyone was trying to do. And during this time, people would take diet pills, drink diet drinks, anything to attain this sort of skinny, sickly look that was so popular. But then fast forwarding to 2010, that's when we started to see the hourglass figure. It was okay to have a little bit more curves. People like Kim Kardashian really popularized this sort of look, made it like mainstream popular. It was a saying that thick thighs save lives, and that really reflected the time that we were in because having a little weight on your thighs was okay. But also simultaneously, we did have the popularity of the thigh gap during this time. So even though they started to accept things like thicker thighs, there still was that underlying beauty standard of being thin. That never was going to go out of style. And now we're transitioning into a new beauty standard. We are seeing less of the obvious plastic surgery that we saw with the baddie era. We're seeing less fillers. Influencers, celebrities are all going to dissolve their fillers because one, it's actually turned out to be very dangerous, but now we're seeing this more natural look start to arise. But it's not fully natural because they're still getting plastic surgery, and we'll get into that.
While I do think celebrities are going into their doctor and saying, I want to get rid of this excessive amount of overdone filler, I don't believe they're getting rid of all the filler. One person that really stands out in my mind is Blac Chyna. I actually thought that she had a cheek implant for many years because she had so much product placed in her cheeks here. She's reporting that she's getting rid of all of her filler. I think that she is opting for a more natural look and having some of that filler corrected. She definitely doesn't look like pre-Hollywood Blac Chyna, and I think we're gonna see more celebrities admitting that they're dissolving filler, but we are not going to see that they're looking like their pre-Hollywood selves because a lot of them have had surgeries that they are not reporting, and I think they're just going for a more natural and conservative look with the filler they have.
And with the popularity of things like Ozempic, we are seeing everybody shrink in size, and I'm talking regardless of gender. Everyone is shrinking in size. And while these beauty standards might feel inspirational, the truth is that it's probably unattainable for most people. And so with this shift into a more natural beauty, we have to talk about the rise in quiet surgeries. So these are surgeries that are designed to look extremely natural, but they cost tens of thousands of dollars. And so we're talking about things like buccal fat removal, endoscopic surgeries, preventative Botox, fillers, microneedling, the list goes on. There's so many things, so many procedures that you can get that don't have a super dramatic plastic look, but make the world of a difference. And so these quiet surgeries are a way for people, mostly celebrities, to stay camera ready, look perfect and polished without drawing attention to any dramatic changes in their looks. And so again, we've been seeing a lot of celebrities like Lindsay Lohan and Christina Aguilera. The list goes on. There's so many people that we're finding making these crazy transformations, but it looks so natural and it looks so good. People are really trying to speculate on what it was that they did.
I think if we're looking at her face, she's now, I think, in her late 30s. Some of the changes I see in her upper face, on her eyelids, does look a little bit more open and rested. So I do think there's a possibility of an upper eyelid or blepharoplasty surgery to open her eyes up a little bit. I was looking to see if she may have done something like a ponytail lift, which is a sort of a facelift that younger patients do, because it doesn't involve as much as the neck as it does involving lifting the mid-face and the lateral brow. And I do see some changes in that brow, but I don't see a change in her eyelid shape. So if it was a very conservative sort of mid-face or a little lift out laterally, I do think she's taking better care of herself. She's probably doing a lot of skin treatments, microneedling, maybe radiofrequency, fillers. I do think that she has a little more fullness in her upper face, and it's blended very well into more of a heart-shaped face. Probably a little bit of lip filler. And then, of course, the Botox or subtle treatments to help reverse some of the signs of aging.
And these transformations don't just make headlines because they look good. It's because they look too good. It's almost as though they're aging in reverse. They look so youthful, and it reinforces this idea that youth is not only desirable, but it's mandatory. Although there's always been this idea that you lose your beauty as you age, especially as a woman, I feel like now that there's celebrities that are achieving this ability to rewind their age, it's going to be very dangerous, and a lot of people are going to want to attain these same sorts of results. These surgeries are very expensive and oftentimes going to be unattainable for the regular day person.
Who is the engineer that reset these ladies and Demi Moore back to factory settings? Not only are they back to factory settings, but they are on a whole new iOS operating system. Who is the magic engineer? Who has the magic wand? Who has the magic scalpel? Is it in the United States? Will it be like the flat screen television? When it first came out, it was thousands of dollars. Or the computer, it was enormous and it was unattainable. Will it get cheaper every year? Will us in Gen Pop have access to procedures like this, or do I gotta go to Turkey? I'm 40 years old. The clock is ticking. I wanna be fucking gorgeous like this or like this. It's unbelievable. I don't care if it's fake. I don't care if it's unrealistic. I want it. I want it. I want to go back to factory settings. I want to feel that good.
Ugh. Funny how she said factory settings, because that's the truth. That's how you looked at one stage of your life. But the way these beauty standards work, the way social media works, it'll really make you yearn for a time that's already passed. I don't think it's particularly healthy. Then there's Ozempic, which is this diabetes drug that is helping people lose so much weight and make these absolutely crazy transformations. And it's been making headlines also because of a little bit of controversy that it's causing. So for one, it's creating a shortage amongst people with diabetes. They're not able to get this drug because they're celebrities and just regular people who are trying to get this drug to lose weight. It's also showing what people are willing to do in order to attain this beauty standard or whatever it is that they have for themselves. And so between quiet surgeries and medical shortcuts like Ozempic, we are seeing a new beauty standard emerge. And this standard might be more subtle and natural, but it's definitely still unattainable, because once you pull back that curtain, you see that they are still spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to attain these looks. So these new beauty standards don't just affect celebrities, it's affecting how people view themselves as well as others, and you could see it in the culture. Everybody seems more scrutinizing than ever, and it can't be healthy. Let's take these viral street interviews that have been going around. So this viral trend is essentially where people will rate their own attractiveness and then have other people rate them, strangers. at that. And I think it shows how far we've strayed away from self-acceptance. We've just normalized this idea of rating others, but also rating ourselves. And when somebody that looks to me to be a 10 is rated a 5, it just makes me feel like, what is the standard of beauty anymore? We have a messed up meter because of social media, because of just what we see online. We are seeing a rise in cosmetic procedures, especially amongst those that are a lot younger, so people in Gen Z. And in the past, cosmetic procedures were mostly done by people in their 40s and 50s, but now we're seeing people in their 20s and 30s take these preventative measures, and they're using Botox and fillers in order to look youthful, even though they're still technically in their youth. And so statistics show increases in procedures like rhinoplasty, lip fillers, and jawline contouring amongst Gen Z. It's just really shocking to see because at a certain point, this was reserved for people that were older. And again, it's really highlighting that fact that you're not allowed to age graceful anymore. You just have to keep striving for this time that's past you. And as you get older, the only way that you're going to be able to attain these looks are through more and more extreme measures. And we're even seeing this rise in people traveling abroad to places like South Korea and Turkey to get these more affordable cosmetic procedures. And oftentimes these surgeries are marketed as lifestyle improvement in these countries. I think this accessibility can be empowering for some people, but it definitely does raise an important question for me. When does it go too far, and can it go too far? On the one hand, people should feel free to make decisions about their own bodies. But on the other hand, we can't ignore how much mental health, as well as the societal pressures, weigh into these decisions that people are making. And studies have consistently shown a connection between unattainable beauty standards and mental health struggles. And in a report by the American Psychological Association, they revealed that social media in particular has heightened the appearance-related stressors that young people face. And so with the rise of filters and editing apps, Facetune, Photoshop, all these sorts of things, people are not only comparing themselves to celebrities, but highly edited photos of their peers. And a study by Dove showed that 80% of girls have downloaded some sort of editing app by the age of 13. And this just shows how early the pressure to conform and to look beautiful begins. What is the connection between beauty standards and mental health? Evidence shows that beauty standards can affect individual mental health. Social media, television, and film can all portray unrealistic beauty standards and create pressure for people to look a certain way. So these pressures can affect the mental health of individuals. It can lead to an increased risk of low self-esteem, negative body image, eating disorders, and depression. And through this article, they're also showing that through social media and television, the mental health of individuals, especially females and young people, is an issue that's on the rise. And unfortunately, this is something that affects a lot more women than it does affect boys, because I think that we have this problem in society where women are really praised for mostly their looks. It's just been that thing that women have had to pay attention to. It was like their worth at a certain point. And unfortunately, it's definitely still there in society. We have not been able to fully shake this idea that women are only good for their looks and how beautiful that they are. A meta-analysis from 2008 showed that exposure to thin, ideal body types through the media is directly related to body image concerns amongst females. And these body image issues can also contribute to various mental health issues, including eating disorders, depression, anxiety, self-esteem issues, and social isolation. Through this article, they go through all of the various mental health conditions that people are developing because of the pressure of the societal beauty standards that we have. We're seeing things like low self-esteem. 54% of females ages 10 to 17 globally have low to medium body esteem. Eating disorders. 5 in 10 young females have put their health at risk by not eating or not going to the doctor. Depression. The research has shown a strong association between body image dissatisfaction and symptoms of depression. Anxiety and social isolation. 6 in 10 young females globally have chosen not to attend social engagements or be assertive in their opinions because of their self-esteem. And so we're just seeing how these high beauty standards actually affect society and the people within it. Fortunately, there is a pushback to a lot of these trends. We've seen Dove with their Real Beauty campaign, and this has been going since 2004. The Dove campaign for Real Beauty is a marketing campaign that aims to build self-confidence in women and children. The campaign was launched in 2004 in response to a global study that found that only 2% of women consider themselves beautiful. And the campaign's main message is to celebrate women's differences and transform physical appearance from a source of anxiety to a source of confidence. So these types of campaigns are really important because clearly in a world where this is not the goal, people don't want you to be happy in the body that you are, because unfortunately the makeup industry, the cosmetic surgery industry just preys upon all of these insecurities that we have, and they need it to stay alive in order for them to have business. And so when I see companies like Dove trying to empower women and children and just people in general to be more happy with their look, I'm like, bravo, this is what we need to see in society. Also, a lot of influencers promote body neutrality, and it's essentially a practice that involves accepting and appreciating your body for what it can do rather than focusing on how it looks. It's different from body positivity, which involves cultivating self-love and unconditional acceptance of your body. And this can really help people with negative body images, and it helps promote this self-care and self-love that we need so much in this world right now. And so this is also a movement that I would love to see take off. And this is another sort of thought form that I think we should lean into, because I think it would make that difference on our mental health, but also on how much importance we put on beauty in the world. So on one hand, the rise in cosmetic accessibility and acceptance is very empowering to see. People have more control over their body and appearance than ever before. But on the other hand, this shift reflects that in society, oftentimes our self-worth is tied to our physical appearance. And the question still remains, how do we navigate these sorts of spaces? How can we encourage people to make choices that genuinely make them happy rather than choices that come from a place of societal pressure? This isn't really just about celebrities anymore. It's about how we as a culture actually define the meaning of beauty and how much weight we put on actually meeting those definitions. And so as cheesy as it sounds, we do need to redefine what beauty means, and it has to be less about something that we have to achieve, but rather as something that we all possess in some way, shape, or form. So what do you think about today's beauty standards? Do you think they're changing for better or for worse? If you've watched this video all the way to the end, please comment the cloud emoji. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next deep dive.